United, they seem to have drowned in their own rivers as regards the CAF Champions League foray. We'll talk about that and what to look forward to. Ademola Lookman is excited. It's finally happened for him. It was a question of, is he going to Inter Milan? That fell through. Is he going to Fenerbahce? That fell through. But I guess he is in a place where he's excited with Atletico de Madrid. A 4.5-year contract that will see him there till 2030. We've got some other talks as regards the Golden Arrows, the Nigerians handball team, men's handball team. Incidentally, it was a road too far for them as they couldn't pick that final slot to make it to the Handball World Cup. We will be talking about that. We'll get customers come share with us exactly what went down in that loss to Angola. The under-20 girls, our Falconets, are all set to face off in round 3 against the Lioness of Teranga. And that will be some interesting encounter because after that procedure, they go into the final qualification phase for the Poland 2026 World Cup. Welcome to Africa Sports, and I'm very excited to have you be with us for this particular edition. I'm quite excited, most importantly, as we've got some really, really strong voices here to lend their thoughts on what to look forward to tonight, especially on the pot. Mike, a very warm evening to you. I hope your week has been good.
Splendid, so to say. Lots of events have happened, quite many, but one that really stuck to mind happened to be some drama in Senegal. Among the fines which the AFCON winning coach Pape Theo, was told to pay was $100,000 US. And as soon as the fans had it, they started crowdfunding for him. But I liked what he did. He reached out to them and said, listen, I appreciate what you are doing. Wonderful gesture from you guys. But I'm of the opinion that a lot of people who need this money more than I do. Don't worry, the 100,000, I'll find a way to pay it. You go crowdfund for something else, but all the same, I love you, and a genuine move. I like that. That
is definitely love from the fans. And what do you expect, especially with how they've more or less achieved some greatness for the nation? Exciting moments. I even think the president might say, oh, don't mind them. I'm on to take 100,000. Forget that 135 I give you. That one is for you. Take this 100, go and sort those people out. But it shows love from the fans. Sawadino Benji joins us for this one. And how you doing, man? How's it going?
It's been a
like
beautiful
you want to litigate
weekend.
Against somebody here. It has to be Mike anyway. It can't be me.
It's been a beautiful week, interesting week. So many football excitement here and there. We're here once again to rule our kingdom, so let's get it started.
When Benji keeps it short, he's about to fire. I know that for a fact. All right, let's get into Ademola Lookman, a.k.a. Mola, as he likes to be called. And exciting moments for him. This was something that should have happened to him during the summer. Almost led to a big issue with him and his club side. But finally, it's sorted. 35 million euros that could rise up to 40 million euros. 4.5-year deal with Atletico Madrid. Good move, Mike?
Splendid move, if you ask me. This kid has always longed for a way out of Bergamo. After 3.5 wonderful years in which he led them to the Europa Cup for the first time in 61 years. He scored a hat-trick in the final. What better way to announce your arrival and the club's arrival among the big boys? That was not enough. There was supposed to be a move to PSG. Even salaries has even been discussed. They pulled the plug on this kid. But no problem, he remained. Second year, he thought they'll finally allow him go. Inter Milan came in with some desire, they didn't. So it's just his interest that, listen, let me play the football and see how. The Nations Cup came again, yet he exploded, gave them a lot of positives. And in all of that, he almost was not allowed, but finally, they've allowed him to go. My joy was that now he's going to what I consider a bigger league. And secondly, he is going to a league in which the coach respects him. Listen to what the coach said when he came. He said, listen, I saw Mola play with my guys. I'll tell you the 4 things I saw. He said, I liked his physical strength. I like his speed. I like his ability to change play. And finally, his power in the final third. These were the 4 things that Diego Simeone did say about this kid. That's to tell you that he knew what he bought and he knew what he wants. So I'm hoping that the romance will go well and Ademola explodes in the La Liga.
Benji, if there's anything Mola brings to that Atletico Madrid final third is a lot of width, a lot of depth, and a lot of threat.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where he's shooting. Left or right, he is going to shoot. Which is something you don't see mostly with Atletico Madrid's strikers. They want to get into that final third.
Atalanta, which, I mean, it beats me how you treat someone like that. And in recent times, it's got me thinking, if it's an Italian thing because Victor Osimhen was almost treated the same way at Napoli, and now Ademola Lookman, for a man that, just like Mike said, you know, got room to express yourself. So I'm actually really looking forward to him, and thankfully the manager seems to have a lot of confidence in him, because it is one thing for the club to sign you for the manager, it's another thing for the manager to identify you and say, I want him. So he knows how he wants to deploy you, and I'm hoping that that relationship would blossom.
Mike, this is what Atletico Madrid are having. You are having, number one, a gentleman. You are also having a consummate professional who will give you 110%. You are having a former African Footballer of the Year. You are having a player that made it to the AFCON final, and a player who is as influential in the national team. And I think how best again, and I would say you are having him at a bargain at the end of the day.
I agree with you in the sense that amongst many things, you'll be drawing eyeballs, further eyeballs to Atletico Madrid, especially from Africa. Because a lot of them now are going to be fans of Atletico Madrid. Yes, they've been fans before. He's not the first. Abbas did play for them in time back. But he's bringing this. My joy again for him is that he's always going to be in the Champions League almost every year, because this club has been at the Champions League almost every year. Now, the way they behave, the way they train, and he's, like you said, a consummate professional. The way he behaves, the way he trains, no conflicts, no confrontations with him. He just comes, does his job, and simply goes home. Now, that is the type of player you want for marketing's sake and for the sake of eyeballs and the rest of them. So for me, I think it's a match made in heaven. I just hope that all other things go right so that we'll see him explode. And, for once, the likes of Alexander Soloth, the aging Griezmann, and, Alvarez will have a steady help in Ademola Lookman.
Let's look at what he's achieved individually. Yeah. And I think he's someone who his pathway hasn't been an easy one. I mean, there's been some rough roads to it, but still, you can tell it was a grass-to-grace situation there, and every of his achievements are absolutely worthy achievements also.
I think I would want to substitute grass to grace for the power of consistency, always showing up. A lot of people would be quick to remember the failed Panenka while he was at Fulham, and the backlash that came with that from both the British media and all of that. It will take a lot of resilience, strength, mental strength especially, to be able to bounce back from that and actually keep going. The guy has been tossed around, I mean, eventually got to Everton and started picking up and then moved out and all of that. So I think he consistently kept showing up and kept doing what he knew how to do best. And one of the best decisions of his life was switching his allegiance to Nigeria. Trust me, if he had stayed back and maybe been waiting for an opportunity to get into the Three Lions squad, I don't know how that would have turned out.
I don't think anything would have come out of that.
I don't think. I sincerely don't think. I sincerely share your opinion on that. Switching allegiance to the Super Eagles of Nigeria helped him very well. I mean, it's usually when they switch this allegiance, the concern is if they can be able to adapt to African football. The guy came and noticed that, okay, maybe I might not go great for great, but then I've got something, I've got skill, I've got pace, I know how to wriggle my way, tough round defenses. And at the first African Cup of Nations, he blows up. The second African Cup of Nations, I mean, I literally said in one of my commentaries that he has literally taken the African Cup of Nations and nicknamed him the Ademola tournament. So I think that switch is actually one of the best things that has happened to his career. No surprises. He emerged as the African Footballer of the Year. And I think he's even in running.
Aside from the African Footballer of the Year, he was the only African nominated in the Ballon d'Or.
Exactly. He
finished 14th. And I think that is absolutely noble to note. And look, if there's any media that will chew you raw, especially if you don't turn up for them, is the English media. But guess what? They came out very quickly to say the first British-born player to play in the Premier League, the Bundesliga, the Serie A, and now La Liga. Well, it's okay, you can claim that, but it's our own. And this is to my good friend, Thomas Mlambo. You remember that our Versus talk here? All right, you will show me one player that has achieved this one. But that's what we're saying. And no matter how you look at it, yours is yours.
Of course.
And it's not as though you went to borrow somebody from somewhere. He's yours. He's a Nigerian through and through. Anyhow you want to look at it. You can have your children littered everywhere, but when they come through for you. And look, I would say the AFCON has a way of showing you if you are truly an African great. There's something about the AFCON, I would say, because you can fire whatever you want to fire in your league. When you come to AFCON, it's a different story. All the fouls they will call for you in your league, they won't call it in AFCON.
Exactly.
They'll say, hey, this
and
is
you can see Calvin Bassey fulfill some of this. You see, Ademola was one of the 6 players of Nigerian descent that were in that 2017 on the 20 World Cup winning team. When I saw Sholanke score a scorpion kick a few days ago, I said, good job. But then deep down, you'll still regret, in my opinion, for not coming to play for the Super Eagles. Because ever since he did that, with Ademola, 2017, what has happened to his football? Sheyi Ojo and the rest of them, what has happened to their football? But look at Ademola Lookman. Look at Calvin that has come. You need to see the fulfillment in Calvin Bassey's life now. When you see him wear his Nigerian kits for training in Fulham and the rest of them. Because listen, it's one-way life out there. But when you spice it with what happens here, if you try both worlds, you know the joy in enjoying both worlds.
I hear you on that one. Just before we get to African Unforgettable, I think it's good to see that our good boy, Nwabali, who's living Chippa United. I didn't say where he's heading to, but I like that it was mutual agreement between him and Chippa United to go to pathways. And Chippa United has come out with very, very glowing tributes to what he's added to that side. You like it or not? In fact, I saw a tweet somewhere where somebody says, if not for Nwabali, you guys cannot have the kind of following you have on Twitter. Now you will go back to your 2 tweets. You know what? And you have to say, Nwabali brought so much to Chippa United, gave them that presence on the social streets.
And that is what Nigerians can do to you. Nigerians love to follow their own. I mean, growing up as a very young boy, I knew about clubs like Fenerbahce, Besiktas, Inter Milan, Ajax Amsterdam, simply because of one thing. Nigerians were playing at this club size at the time, And
interestingly, we've also had Nigerians support those clubs because Nigerians are
playing. Exactly. I can say, maybe not for a fact, that maybe 70% of Arsenal fans today started supporting Arsenal because of Kanu Nwankwo. Maybe 70% or not, or even more. So I think the following to Chippa United, the moment Sterling Nwabali made his debut for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, trust me, that was when that following started getting all of the momentum it got. And it's actually very good when players do their time at club sides and they leave on a very good note, on a very good footing. I am hoping that his next destination would be one that will be a step higher, a step further than, what he's achieved at Chippa United, because Chippa United not really amongst the big boys in the PSL. If he's staying back at the PSL, maybe a Mamelodi Sundowns deal, maybe a Pirates deal. If he's moving out, maybe going to a bigger side in Africa, or maybe heading to somewhere in Middle Europe and all of that. But whatever the case is, our best wishes to Sterling Nwabali, and he deserves the best.
Mike, you want to give a few thoughts on that one? Because I would say if he's going to move to any other club, he must actually have it as a clause in his contract that I must be #1. Because you can't be #1 for your national team and go be #2 or #3 at a big club. I don't care if they're paying you 10 times what Chippa is paying you.
More so, now that there might be more serious competition for him. Feelers are out there that Wrexham's Arthur Okonkwo, who used to be at Arsenal as a young goalkeeper, might switch nationalities and come to play for the Super Eagles. Now, I've watched that kid somewhat, and that kid is not bad. So that's more competition if he actually makes it. So that's more of a need as to why Nwabali, one, should go to a bigger club, and two, should insist that, listen, should I come to this club, this is how it's going to be for me. And if not, then he knows that his career might just be going downhill. Because remember, that's other threats of Okoye out there in Udinese.
Absolutely. All right, time for celebrating our African icon, and there's none other than a very powerful man. Now, I know many of these people, you may not know of them, but then again, Mike will remind you how they used to be. We are celebrating...
Which of the mics, please?
Mike Mayaki. We are celebrating Pierre Ndai Mulamba. The very